I spent a little over $5,000 on filmmaking gear, and honestly, most of the gadgets that I bought didn't really make my videos better. So before you buy anything, let me tell you about 3 purchasing mistakes that I made when I was just starting out that you can easily avoid. Let's get into it. So obviously when I was just starting out, I put away a lot of money to buy my first camera, which was my Sony a6700. And when I was shooting for clients, I was like, I really need to start shooting more BTS content, right? So the camera that I bought for this was the DJI Action 3. Now, don't get me wrong, this camera is insane. It has an incredible wide angle. It shoots in 4K, I believe 120 FPS. For BTS content, it's not really that important, but it's still like the quality, it's really, really good. And I remember when I was just starting out, I used to put a lot of energy on the client. I obviously still do it now, but especially at the start, I remember that I was so focused on the client that I just forgot to grab my DJI Action 3 and put it like, for example, on the table to record me, or put my chest mount to record the camera and all this kind of stuff. I don't think that this is the perfect camera for BTS content simply because I want something effortless. I want something that I just can click record and forget about it and focus solely on the client. Especially like when I used to put it on my chest mount, I remember that I was so focused also on like trying to keep my hands straight so that obviously my DJI could record all my hand movements on my camera, and it was just simply too hard to like focus on BTS and also on my client, and I didn't really like that. Now, the quality of this camera is really good, but I think that the best alternative for this camera here, at least for its price point and everything, it's the Insta360 X4 or X3. Now, it depends what you like. I prefer the X4 because it shoots in 4K. It's actually 8K, but it's obviously 4K on one camera and 4K on the other camera. And the sole fact that you can just simply click record and start shooting with this, and obviously go in post-production and change the angle and the composition of the scene, it's such a no-brainer to me, especially for BTS content. I'm talking about BTS content right now. This camera is insane for vlogging, but for BTS content, this is the winner against any other camera. Plus with this guy, obviously if you have like this invisible stick, you can put it like literally anywhere. I usually put it like a tripod like this, but I also like to, for example, put it like on my camera bag mount, or also like inside my bag, like wedge the invisible stick inside my bag, and it creates like this GTA shot. It's insanely good. I'm gonna create a full video talking about this beast and how to create like a really compelling BTS to actually stop the scroll. But yeah, I mean, this is such a winner. I think that this costs a little less, but I would suggest to spend a little bit more money for this camera right here. Now, the next gadget I want to talk about, it's the tripod. Now, especially when I was starting out, I remember that I spent like as little money as possible on a like decent tripod, just because I thought, I mean, it's a tripod. You just put it there and you forget about it. You don't need something fancy. I was wrong about that, because I think that you should spend always a little bit more money than you think on gear, simply because it's gonna last through time if you obviously keep it in good condition. And with the tripod, especially with the second one I ever bought, which I understood this lesson, I knew that I need to spend a little bit more money. And for some reason, I really wanted a tripod that also had like a sort of horizontal view to create those top-down shots. And I remember that this was a big mistake, because I spent a lot of money on a tripod that basically was focused solely on that horizontal thing, but simply like the tripod wasn't tall enough, and the build quality wasn't enough to sustain my $3,000 camera, and I didn't feel comfortable putting there. I obviously needed to put a back weight, but then the weight didn't weigh enough as the camera. So I remember seeing like the legs of the tripod shaking, and I just took it out, and I didn't even find a surface that was like low enough to create a good top-down shot. It was just such a nightmare that I was like, okay, I'm gonna buy a really good tripod that functions only as a tripod, and then I'm gonna buy a good quality C-stand where I'm gonna put my camera and just forget about it, and I know that it's not gonna go anywhere and it's gonna stay there. And especially when you're starting out, I know that with the money you have, it's not gonna be a lot. You wanna spend on the most gadget as possible because you want more things. But in my opinion, that's the wrong thing to do. You need to spend a lot of money on one gadget that does one or multiple functions really, really well, and just keep that gadget in good condition. Like for example, the tripod that I have right now is the KNF Concept one. It cost me like, I think like around maybe 80 bucks, maybe something more, I don't remember, but it did cost a lot of money for a tripod. It's actually a lot. But at the same time, I had this tripod for the last like 5 years. For 5 years, you don't need to spend money on another tripod, and it's probably gonna last another 5 years. I'm sure about that, because the build quality is really, really good. So the moral of the story is that if you don't have a lot of money, spend it on good quality stuff and not a lot of stuff that doesn't function as anything. Now, as a videographer, I think that you should obviously like get really good at video editing, especially if you're starting out, especially if you want to be like a freelancer, a solo filmmaker. I think that you should get really good at editing. But at the same time, especially when you're starting out, but I think also like in the next couple of years when you're getting decent, I think you shouldn't buy consoles for editing. Now, this doesn't mean, for example, buying gadgets for editing, for example, a mouse or an external keyboard or a monitor. Those are other things. But a console, for example, a color grading or creating like a cooler shortcuts on your editing software, like those are not essential. I see a lot of kids that are like starting out and they get extremely hyped on color grading, for example, and they want to buy the console right away. I remember that when I first started, I bought the Tourbox. If you don't know what that is, it's like a small cubicle console with lots of buttons and scroll wheels to actually make your editing workflow faster. But at the same time, I remember I bought it, I used it for like 2 weeks, then I put it away. I used it again like a couple of years later, but I am so accustomed to the keyboard and something that you can find anywhere. I have my own custom shortcuts, which are insane. I use an app called Keyboard Maestro, which basically lets me create my own custom shortcuts, not only for DaVinci Resolve, my editing software, but also for Google Chrome or Notion or any other software on my computer. And it's insane also for my editing software, because obviously every editing software, DaVinci Resolve, Premiere Pro, Final Cut, they have their own shortcuts. To give you an example, with Keyboard Maestro, I can just click 2 buttons and it creates like an adjustment layer inside my timeline. With other buttons, it creates every single effect inside my software. With the native shortcuts, you can't do that. And this is simply something that really saves time. In my opinion, like time is the most valuable asset for solo filmmakers. Spending money on an external console, unless you're extremely sure about that, I would say don't do it. Try to think of something else. For example, a really good quality mouse. I have the Logitech MX Master 2, and this guy it's really insane. Flip it open with this toggle right here. It has all the standard mouse sections, for example, the left and right button and the scroll wheel button, but it also has a lot of other buttons. For example, this one right here, down the scroll wheel, the left and right buttons on here on the side that you can access them with your thumb, the scroll wheel also on the side where you can basically go from left to right on the timeline, and also this button right here where you rest your thumb. I mean, you can create so many custom shortcuts. And also the thing is, when I'm editing, I really want to keep my hands there, because for example, when I need to delete a clip, I need to raise my right hand and click on the delete button. And that is time consuming. As an editor and a filmmaker, I really want to minimize that time consuming that I have every single day. So I just use this button right here to delete my clip. It's that easy, and I really don't want to move my left and right hand while I'm editing, because it's just time consuming. Guys, in this video, I obviously talked about gadgets that I really don't like and some that I really value. If you're interested on other gadgets that I use every single day, you can click on the video right here. I'll see you in the next one, boys. Ciao, ciao.